On everybody, what is going on? Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what day it is. It is Friday, May 20th, 2022, which means it is time for the live stream Friday on the Rain in Real Time channel. If you have not done so already, I will greatly appreciate it if you go ahead and like the stream, share it as well. As y'all can see, the layout looks a little bit different. That's because I am streaming off of Restream right now. I decided, to put, StreamYard to the back seat for a little bit because I wanted to try a little something different. I've been trying to, I've been playing around with the whole Restream thing idea for a little bit. I saw some people was using it. I looked up some benefits of being on Restream versus StreamYard, and I kind of like it. One of them being I can stream multiple places. Like right now, y'all can see me on here, but if you look at my Twitter, it should have put out like a link where if you can't watch me on here, those of you who follow me on Twitter can watch me live on there. It's pretty much the same thing. And what'll happen is if you follow me on Twitter and you comment in the chat that's on Twitter, the little icon will pop up on the side letting me know that this person is from Twitter. Like right now, mostly people are commenting are on YouTube. So I see the YouTube icon. But if anyone types something from Twitter, I'll see the little Twitter icon, which of course is that little blue bird. So I just wanted to try a little something different. And if I upgrade, then I can live stream on more platforms. But right now, with me just having the basic one, it only lets me do two at a time. So what I did was I linked my main YouTube channel, this YouTube channel, and my Twitter account. So what will happen is, for instance, when I do my Freestyle Friday next week, I will unlink this channel or this YouTube channel and link my main channel and my Twitter account. That way you can watch me on YouTube or on Twitter. But if I choose the upgrade, then I can say link all three of them at the same time. That's actually what Lisa Cabrera, I don't know if she uses Restream or not, but she has two, YouTube channels. So when she goes live on one, she's live on the other. So she's basically, it's almost like double dipping. But with Restream, you can link so many accounts, like depending on what kind of uh, upgrade you get, you can have sometimes five accounts going live at one time. So you can, and it'll tell you right there in the profile, like you can go live on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, all at the same time. I don't know if you can do Instagram yet, but I do know that the ones that I did mention, you can go live on multiple platforms. So I thought that was dope. But let me see who is in here so far, because I need to make sure I give my shout outs. Shout out to Kid Gravity, Joseph Washington, Spidey, 25 Kid, Buzzer Cam H1, Joseph Washington. You said you just saw Doctor Strange and wanted to. I told y'all she was a beast in that movie. Gnome King, Letitia, Ashen. You said, did I hear about the bird watcher Christian Cooper getting a TV show? And I guess that's his I guess that's his little personal reparations. He had an opportunity to really nail it to that chick, and he dropped the ball. Like that could have affected all of us, but he was only thinking of himself. So I mean, it is what it is. Let's see, Gnome King, Jerome, Janesta, King of No, Pinky JYB. Chosen one. Shout out to everybody who was here so far. And if I have anybody following me on Twitter right now, can y'all check to see on my Twitter account if it's live over there too? Because I can't check it right now. But can y'all check to see if it's streaming live on Twitter as well? And if you do follow me on Twitter, just send like a test comment. I just want to make sure that it's streaming on both platforms. I just want to make sure that it is working. But I hope everybody is doing good. Oh, and by the way, I did create, the playlist. A lot of people are very glad that I did those playlists yesterday. It took me about a good hour to create those playlists, especially the Sundown Series one, because that one took the longest. Okay, Craig Gravity said it works. Okay, cool. I did the playlist yesterday. If y'all are on my main channel, I created on a community tab. I made the playlist for my Sundown series, the Pet Pendergrass, the Karen, the Bed Buckins, my movie reviews. I made a playlist for all of those, and I'm actually getting some good reception behind that. And I should have been done that. That way, everything's real structured. That way, when I upload a movie review when it's done, I can just put it to the playlist and attach the playlist to the end screen. So if people want to go back and watch the movie reviews that I've done, they can go watch that. Same thing with the Karen videos, the Triple Ps. Of course, you know, the Sundown series is done, so nothing else will be added to that. I wish I still had my old channel because the White History Month would have been a perfect playlist for a whole for those 30 days or 30 days in June. But yeah, the playlist is I love that because it's really structured, and you can just go on there and you can click it and you can watch the videos over again. You don't have to try to find them because I have so many videos on that channel. So that's the point of the playlist. Kid Gravity said it helps people find your content better too. Exactly. That's one thing that I looked up as well. Like when I would look up different videos on YouTube when they were talking about the benefits of a playlist, and they said it helps people find your content better. As a matter of fact, I had someone yesterday who came across one of my old Sundown series videos when I was in Ohio, when I was doing the state of Ohio. I think the city or the town was Shelby, Ohio, and they had left a comment. They wouldn't have found that if I didn't create the playlist. So imagine had I made that playlist a long time ago. But you know, better late than never. It is what it is. And speaking of playlists and triple Ps, I actually just finished recording a triple P video that y'all will be getting probably toward the end of next week, which I probably will drop it a week from today on my main channel before I do the Freestyle Friday live stream on that channel. I'm not going to tell y'all who it's on. Y'all probably won't even guess it. And even if you guessed it right, I'm not going to tell if you were right or wrong, but just know that it's a doozy. I'll just say that much. And what's up to everybody as well? And Kid Ray said, I'm getting new commenters as well. That's good. I see your channel is growing. You're almost at 600 subscribers. You got that community tab. Congratulations on that, because I know you have been trying for the hardest and longest to get that community tab. And that community tab is a wonderful thing, because I do know that I can rely on that to send notifications out if that bell ain't working. Let's see, a DJ, J Cage, Ashen. And it's a lot of people in here right now. I'm glad that you are here. It is currently 6:10, so that means that now we are officially about to get into these topics. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to go ahead and get into it. Let's see. The first thing I wanted to talk about is a very positive story coming out of Georgia, and some of you probably are unaware of what is going on, but I am here to guide you with that one. Let me see if I can see. All right, cool. I want it like that. All right. So and shout out to all my people that live down in Georgia. And I know Kid Gravity, I know you live in Georgia, so you probably are aware of this story that I'm bringing to you right now. And it's about the Slutty vegan founder whose name is Pinky Cole. I actually have heard of her. As a matter of fact, she, as far I think she's in a relationship or engaged to the guy down there who runs a restaurant called Big Dave's Cheesesteaks, and it's another black-owned business that is coming out of Philly, but they're housed now in Atlanta. And talk about two black people together who run respective businesses that get a lot of business. I told myself the next time I go to Georgia, I'm going to both of those locations. I need to find my way to get there. You see, Kid Gravity says Pinky is fast becoming the queen of Atlanta. So basically, the reason why I'm talking about her is she paid it forward. If y'all remember what Robert F. Smith did for the graduating class of Morehouse back in 2019, he paid the tuition, the tuition, the student loans, however you want to put it, for the graduates of Morehouse. Well, she paid it forward for the students of Clark Atlanta University by gifting LLCs to the entire graduating class. I think that is so dope. And that's a picture of her right there. I'm gonna read this little article that they wrote up about her. It says, how do you inspire a bunch of new college graduates to start their own business? One Atlanta entrepreneur believes giving them access to their own LLCs is a good bet. On May 14th, Pinky Cole, the founder of booming restaurant chain Slutty Vegan, announced that she would give each of the 800 graduates of Clark Atlanta University, her alma mater, the ability to register a limited liability company in partnership with Vero Bank, a fully digital bank. The cost of filing an LLC varies on the basis of the state. In Georgia, it's $100. On average, it costs roughly $50 to $250. So she saved them $100. You know, getting an LLC is not expensive, but hell, I'd rather take the one I can get for free, especially if I know that it's coming from a person like her. Every single graduate in this audience will leave the stadium as a business owner, she said during the school's commencement ceremony on Saturday. I didn't have a plan, but I'm going to make sure that you do. Cole graduated from the historically Black Research University in 2009 with a major in mass communication and media studies. Oh, me and her had the same, we had the same major, minus the media studies part. While the now 34-year-old entrepreneur went on to found Slutty Vegan in 2018, Cole told Incorporated in a recent interview that she's a philanthropist first. She launched the Pinky Cole Foundation in 2019 to support people of, I wish they didn't say of color, but you know who wrote this, in her community of Atlanta. When Rayshard Brooks was murdered in the Wendy's parking lot in June 2020, her foundation provided life insurance for the family and a brand new car. It also paid the rent of local businesses in the area to help support them during the pandemic. And the philanthropy purchased life insurance policies for Black men who made $30,000 or less. That's incredible. I didn't even know all this other stuff right here. I didn't know she did all of that. That's impressive. I am thoroughly impressed. Graduates taking her up on her offer to fund an LLC may face tax consequences depending on the type of LLC they form for a sole proprietorship or single member LLC. Filing a Schedule C isn't necessary if a business didn't generate any revenue in a calendar year. However, for other types of LLCs, including partnerships, an annual return is required even if a business doesn't generate revenue. LLC owners can write off certain startup costs, such as attorney fees, market research, office space, equipment, internet service, and more. So the gift of an LLC may be worth the price tag for ambitious young people looking to start a business. And as Cole noted, this may be the push they need to get them off the ground. Hold on, y'all. Let me take a sip of water. I think this is absolutely dope. And that's, like I said, when Robert S. Smith did what he did in 2019, I said, I hope others get the message and they pay it forward and do something and do the same way. And it looks like she got the memo. Of course, she couldn't do right then and there because she had just started. You know, she had just got started the year before, so it wasn't really much she could do. But the fact that she started her business in 2018 and she has this much success by 2022, we're talking 4 years, with one of those years being a pandemic year, and she's able to do this for an entire graduating class in such a short amount of time is mind-blowing. Now, I bet you the mainstream media ain't gonna talk about this. Kid Gravity, I know you in the chat. How often did this story stay in the news down there on the local circuit? Because I know it didn't make the national circuit. I just want to know, like, how long did this stay in the news out there, or down there, I should say? Because I know the mainstream media didn't talk about it. And like I said, these are the type of stories that I wish I could get more of, because this is the type of stuff that we need to see more often. But we already know how that goes. You said only WSB TV made it a headline. That's only one outlet. One. And I know Atlanta has many news circuits. It's a heavy media place down there. It's media heavy. Only one. He said Is it 11 Alive and Fox? Well, look at it. It's Fox. It's Fox. I'm not surprised. But either way, congrats to those graduates at Clark Atlanta University. And shout out to her for doing this. Like, she pretty much helped them get a jump start. She saved them some money, to do it. I saw Black Voltron said out in California, it costs about $800 to get an LLC out there. I'm not surprised. It's California. Everything is high out there, even the people, if you know what I mean. Janessa said, when Black people do something positive, you barely hear about it. They briefly talk about it and it be gone. You're right about that. You're right. You are absolutely right about that. But like I said, the next time I get a chance to go down to Atlanta, I'm hitting up this spot right here. And I'm not even a vegan. I'm hitting up this spot right here. And I'm going to Big Dave's Cheesesteaks. Whenever that is, But shout out to her and shout out to that graduating class. Thank you, Janessa. You say you love the new screen. Yes, this is the restream right here. This is the direction I think I'm going with from here on out. But let's move on to the next story. So now we got to pivot a little bit darker. And I know all of you watching this right now are well aware of this story and have seen the video of, this little Damian Thorne spawn, going up to his Black neighbor's door with this, what looks like a bullwhip, and banging on the door like he the goddamn SWAT, trying to whip this Black family's daughter for whatever reason it may be. Then the mother confronting him at the door. Too bad she didn't have her power tool to at least scare the little thing off. And then left and did damage to her and her husband's car before the husband went over to the house and confronted the father. Then that's when it all pretty much went downhill from there. Luckily, nobody was injured or worse. But it says Brian Thomas Brunson arrested for pulling a gun on a Black family after his son tried to assault their daughter with a whip. It says Brian Thomas Brunson has been arrested and facing a felony charge after his little white piece of shit son pounded on and whooped the door of a Black family, according to Kaufman County Constable Precinct 2 Chief Administrator Jason Johnson. The incident happened on Thursday. It says TMZ has gotten more info about the rest of the boy's father, and the story is even crazier than we initially thought. Turns out the man actually fired the gun that the Nashes claimed he had on him, and he's facing a felony charge because of it. Per Kaufman County, the Nashes alleged that Brunson kept arguing with them on his driveway with a Ruger semi-automatic pistol in hand, which itself isn't illegal. According to the police, the boy actually came out as well with his dad and challenged the Nashes to a fight. Now look at that. This little piece of shit actually came out there and was going to try to fight a grown man. And because if you saw the video, his wife was recording from the other side, and the father of the girl was at the door. This is what allegedly happened next. Is scary. The sheriff's office says Brunson is alleged to have put the gun down at one point on his porch, but then went back to pick it up after the argument persisted, and he allegedly handled it in a reckless manner, causing it to go off. Cop says the bullet almost struck Brunson's own daughter, who was standing behind him, but luckily it missed. Now look at that. This fool is so reckless that he almost shot his own daughter, either to death or to injury. I'm glad they said that, because I wasn't sure, because I had heard that the gunshot went in the direction of the daughter, but I wasn't too sure if that was true or not. But I'm glad this right here confirmed it. J. Cage, I wonder where he got the whip from too. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Where the hell did you get that whip from? And no, this wasn't like one of those Catwoman whips. It was like a bull whip, like a one you could just hold in your hand and just like. I think the video is on here. I'm gonna play the video when I get to the next page, because I think the video is on the next page. But yeah, his stupid ass almost shot his own daughter. He was booked for deadly conduct, which became a felony because of the would-be harm. The boy, who's 9, was a year off from facing criminal mischief charges himself, we're told. But as it stands, he's not going to be rung up legally for this. Hell, yes, shit. We would have found a way. So because he's 9, because he's not 10, he missed the mark. A little white boy came storming over to the home of a black family in Texas with a whip in hand and beating in mind, it seems, and the whole thing was captured on video. This is wild. The ring footage was taken from the front porch of Dee and Carissa Nash's home near Dallas, and it shows what they claim is a neighbor's kid from nearby coming over in a fury, allegedly in search of their 9-year-old daughter and making his presence known. The young boy, who can't be more of 7 or 8 himself, bangs on the front door with his free hand and then takes some cracks at it with his whipping hand. Carissa then opens the door and chastises the boy, telling him to get off her property and threatening to call the police. It appears the kid scrams after that. Sadly, the confrontation wasn't over just yet. Further video shows them facing off with the boy's purported father. So that's the mugshot right there. We're going to move past that. Now, this is a statement from Carissa Nash, who was the one who came to the door or opened the door. She said, the kid comes to my door with a whip looking for my 9-year-old daughter, then puts a big ass scratch on our Audi. The police came out and tells us it'll work itself out since he's moving soon. Look, they got on code. It'll work itself out because he's moving soon. Meaning they weren't going to do a goddamn thing. So when my husband got home, we went to talk to him about the damages done to our vehicle. The dad tells the son to say he's not there. A couple minutes later, he finally comes to the door with a gun. He almost shot himself and his daughter standing behind him. SMH, hashtag kid with whip, hashtag neighbor from hell, hashtag racism, hashtag Forney, hashtag BLM, hashtag Texas, hashtag share, 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 hashtag welcome to Nashville. Now, here's the video right here.
Hey guys, so check out this video of this little boy coming to my house, beating on my door with a whip, trying to attack my daughter. Take a look at this. Also, please like, share, and comment.
Little boy, you better get your ass from off my porch beating on my door like this. I will call the police. You need to leave. Don't you ever beat on my goddamn door like that. Go. Okay.
So as the video progresses, my husband goes over to speak to his father about what just took place.
Across the street.
Take a look at this.
You got video?
Come over here.
Not really. We have it on video. All right, get off my property. Seriously.
He has a gun behind his back.
Because you ain't coming over here talking nicely. You're accusing my son. I'm showing you the video.
We're showing you the video.
The door. You ain't showing me the video of me scratching your car. Get off my plan.
Okay, so that is that's the video right there. Now that's before the gunshot goes off. I'm just reading some of the comments. JK said, I know she wanted to go upside his PC head. She should have. Honestly, the minute that he felt like, because all he had was a whip in his hand, like she could have easily got that. She could have easily, you know what? She could have easily got up out of his hand, turned his ass around and whooped his ass and kicked his little turd face ass off of my porch. I'm saying my porch as if it was me. Now, it makes you wonder what the response would have been had the dad been home. Because remember, the father wasn't home. And when I said the father, well, her husband wasn't home. It makes you wonder what the response would have been if the husband was home. Because he wasn't home. Imagine if he was home and he was the one that answered the door. It makes me wonder what his response would have been. Let's see here. Okay, I think this is the one right here that has the part with the, I think this is like the raw video right here.
My son never touched your car.
We
you
have
a video that he touched your car?
The neighbor does across the street.
You got video?
Come over here.
Not really. We have it on video. All right, get off my property. Seriously, get off my property.
Well, I tell you.
Because you ain't coming over here talking nicely. You're accusing my son.
I'm showing you the video.
My thing is this: why is the PC man talking about you're not coming over here talking nicely? You damn right I'm not coming over here talking nicely. Your little piece of shit son came over to my goddamn door, banging on the door like he was about to kick it in and whipping on my door, trying to whip my child's ass with a goddamn bullwhip. There is no nice. He thought that this guy was gonna come over and be nice. Going to talk about you didn't come over here not being nice. You damn right. And the only thing that I think kept the black man from really going in is because this guy had the gun. If this PC man didn't have that gun in his hand, hands would have been thrown. But I was reading through like what people had posted a few days ago. They said that the black guy should have had his power tool as well. In Texas, open carry, I always say Texas is the NRA's favorite state. And I stand by that. Because it is. They love that open carry out there. They love that Second Amendment. And he should have abided by that one. Honestly.
We're showing you the video.
You ain't showing me the video of me scratching your car. Get off my plan. That's my vine. Get off my plan.
Baby, get off the
He worried about it. Fuck your damn vine.
vine.
I ain't even gonna go there.
No, that's my grapevine.
All right, man.
Okay, thank you.
You owe me a plant if
I don't owe you shit. Fuck you. I bet you won't bring your motherfucking ass.
Can you please stop, sir? All we want to do is just talk to you civil.
That's the problem. You and your kids want to play fucking victim. Your son came over here.
Y'all are so violent.
Your son came over here.
Baby, please,
Your
no.
son came over here with a fucking whip. Bring his ass over here again.
Please.
See what the fuck happened.
You have a gun.
Come over here on my side and see what the
You
fuck
have
happened.
a
This piece of shit more worried about that ugly, this nest of a plant. You're on my plant. What? You're worried about a damn plant. But see, that shows you right there. PC will put something that can't even talk back to you above black people. They will put, you listen, we done got pushed even further down the food chain, y'all. We are now beneath a plant. Get off my plant. I don't give a damn about your plant. Fuck you and your plant. I think in the next few seconds they cut it off. That's when you hear the gunshot. And now let me go to the next page. All right, this is a picture of the couple. This is her, this is the wife, this is the husband. Right here. Nice looking couple. Right here. And that's a picture of their kids. And I'm guessing this is the little girl that little 3-6 in the head was trying to come over to deal with or whip. This has to be her. It's definitely not her, and it's not the son. It's her. Remember what I was telling y'all about soft targets? The two soft targets in this situation was her and her. And what I've told y'all about soft targets, they're usually young, probably, female or adult female, older. Notice the boy didn't have the smoke for the older brother. The older brother looked like he would have whooped his ass. See, he knew who to come and try. He knew who to come and try. Because I bet you he wasn't going to try the son, and he for damn sure wasn't going to try the husband. I'm talking about the boy that came over. I'm guessing I guess that's another son that they have. That I guess he wasn't present in another picture. Afro said he should have stumped that plant. I would have. I'm like, fuck your damn plant. That plant was ugly and it looked dead. It wasn't nothing growing on it. It was just there. He would have been doing your bitch ass a favor. Yeah, Gnome King, this is the girl he was coming over to attack her. And they don't even say, and you know, usually I like to know what the motive is behind certain things like this, but honestly, this shit is so wild, I don't even care to know. You came over to my house with a damn whip, threatened to quote unquote whip my child, you won't make it to 10. I stand firmly on that. You will not make it to 10. But now, because of this whole situation, Pops, the PC man, let me see if I can go back, got a felony charge on his ass for being stupid. It was one thing he came out with the gun, but then the gun went off. Almost shot yourself and your daughter who was standing behind you. And if you saw in the video, you can kind of see the daughter standing behind her. You can only kind of see her from the waist down, though. That's why he looking like this in this picture. He like, I fucked up. You sure did. And you look fucked up, too. Do you believe this guy's 39? This guy was born in the same era as me. He got that look on his face like, shit, I fucked you. Yeah, you did. You fucked up royally. And if it was me, it should be hate crimes put on this as well, for the simple fact that this little piece of shit came over there with a damn whip. Just looking at some of the comments. You Law said the white dad clearly set this up with the hopes he'd be able to shoot the black father. If you notice, he threatened to fight him, then pulled a gun out immediately after. Because he knew he wasn't going to win that fight. A lot of PC people do not know how to fight. That's why they immediately go to their gun. I'm sorry, to their power tool. Notice he stood in the doorway the whole time. I'm telling you, if that PC man didn't have his power tool, it would have been looking like the Tasmanian devils up in there. You know how on Looney Tunes when the dust be kicking up and people be fighting? That's exactly what the hell it probably would have looked like. I'm looking at y'all comments. Y'all saying that's a rough 39. Yeah, it is. That's a struggling, haggard 39. But we're gonna try. I'm gonna try to see if I can stay on top of the story, because I want to know what what further punishments he's gonna get down the line. Because it's not enough that he's just charged with something and he's been arrested and all of that stuff. He needs something else to happen to him. But moreover, something else needs to happen to that spawn he helped give birth to. Coming over there with a damn whip. I keep telling y'all, remember I did videos on my channel where you had some PC kid whipping on a black kid with a belt in the cafeteria. You had one throwing cotton at another one. And people keep saying it's dying out. No, it's not. It's literally being passed down to the next generation. They're trying to be here to the end. They're trying to keep this thing going. Y'all can continue being blind if you want to. But these little motherfuckers are getting younger and younger because the older ones are fading into obscurity. So they got to keep this thing going. They got to keep this wheel moving. But let me move on to the next story. I'm gonna just go ahead and go and play the video to this one, and we'll get into the details.
Out bail this morning, charged with murdering a 12-year-old Thomas Siderio back in March. Eyewitness News reporter Wakiesha Bailey joining us live from police headquarters with the latest developments in this case. What can you tell us, Wakiesha? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Janelle. Well, the family of 12-year-old Thomas Siderio, also known as TJ, says that they are very happy about these charges being brought forth against the former Philadelphia police officer. Meanwhile, the DA's office, they're calling the shooting unjust.
TJ was a good kid. He shot him in cold blood. He shot him right over top of him. It's just ridiculous.
Monday morning, the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office announced charges against the former Philadelphia police officer.
Edsaul Mendoza has now been charged with first-degree murder, third-degree murder, voluntary manslaughter, and other charges.
Those charges found in a lengthy grand jury presentment. The document filed explained, on March 1st, Mendoza was part of a group of 4 plainclothes officers who confronted Thomas and his 17-year-old friend. The document goes on to say they believe Thomas's friend was connected to a stolen gun. When they attempted to stop the boys, a shot went off. The boys ran. Mendoza chased Thomas and fired his gun 3 times. Krasner and his team says Mendoza shot the 12-year-old knowing he was unarmed and ultimately killing him.
Thomas Siderio threw the gun around there, the gun around there, and pointed to the location of the gun.
It looks like Mendoza is standing and the 12-year-old is on the ground.
Following the DA's announcement, the attorneys representing Thomas's family spoke to media, calling Thomas's death murder.
They all know that when a suspect, let alone a 12-year-old, 5 foot, 111-pound young man, drops the gun, gets down, and basically surrender, you cannot use deadly force.
You should have never killed him. You could have did anything else to him.
And Mendoza is currently being held without bail. His preliminary hearing is scheduled for May 16th. Reporting from police headquarters, Wakiesha Bailey, CBS 3 Eyewitness News. I'm sorry.
Okay, so y'all saw that right there. Let me see if I can move it back just a little bit, just so I can show his picture.
Has now been.
Okay. So this actually happened a couple weeks ago. It made its rounds a little bit, but then it's like it's kind of like trying to fade, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're gonna push it back out here. This guy, Edsaul Mendoza, is gonna fall and is falling into the same categories of the likes of Muhammad Noor, those 2 black cops that I constantly talk about that down in Louisiana a couple years ago, and a few other black cops before him that had the nerve to shoot and fire their gun and kill a would-be white suspect. Now, if you listen to how this story is playing, they'll make it seem like this 12-year-old boy was completely innocent, or he was a complete angel. But when you look at some of the details or listen to what one of them said about him throwing a gun out, why are you throwing a gun out? Why do you at 12 years old even have a gun? I'm just asking the same questions that they would ask if it was the roles were reversed. Because I'm noticing they're not doing or acting in the same tone when it's them and us. Now, this guy's name is Edsaul Mendoza, and you can tell by the last name Mendoza that, you know, there's something else there with him. But if you was to see him walking down the street, you didn't know his name, you never heard him talk, you would swear up and down this was a straight up black dude. Like, he couldn't pass for anything else but black. So he fits the profile. Just like Muhammad Noor, even though we know he's Somali American, he fits the profile to a T. I keep telling, you know, people who are cops who are black that they can't do the same things that their PC counterparts do, even if they are in the right. I see what you did there, Raceable, with your comment. He said that this 12-year-old man have drugs in his system. Kid Gravity said they're saying he's Afro-Latino. I'll lean towards that. I can believe that. He looks it. So much for Blue Lives Matter, right? I guess. And now they probably gonna throw the book at him. He just might get the Muhammad Noor treatment. Because you see what they're doing to him right now. DJ said they need to research the family of that dead white boy, social media accounts, and see if they were Blue Lives Matter when the white cops were killing unarmed black people. Right. But see, I always tell y'all, we live in a us versus them society. Blacklight said those kinds will be the first to say we don't face racism in America. Old boy is facing it now from a mugshot. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know this man's views from a can of paint. I don't know him. He could, and he possibly couldn't be. He probably thought, I'm just doing my job. He probably, for all we know, didn't even mean to kill the boy. But when you're running on foot and you're firing that gun, that bullet, wherever it lands, is going to land. Because you're not aiming. You're not standing in one spot aiming correctly. You're running with a gun and literally firing, and you don't have a lock aim. But they said that he shot him and then shot him. I think they said he shot him while he stood over him. So it was like, wow, now it looks personal. It's like a kill shot, like an execution. But like I said, they're not going to do all the stuff that they would do with his PC counterparts that they're currently doing with him. We know this. Now the tables have turned. PC, I have a question for you. How outraged would you have to become if this became the norm? You know how black people deal with this on a regular basis? I bet you, if this happened to you on a more regular occurrence, like many of you claim that it does, but we know that it doesn't, this shit would get flipped on its head overnight. That's why I don't believe it when they say, oh, white people get killed by the cops more than black people do. I don't believe that shit. Because if that was the case, they would post that and plaster it up all over the media. That's just my take on it. That's how I feel about it. We know laws would get changed overnight. Hell, you know what might happen? Qualified immunity might actually get taken out. The one thing that is literally giving a huge level of invincibility to a lot of these cops would get removed, which is that qualified goddamn immunity. Wishful thinking, right? But we'll see what his punishments, will be, because there will be some punishments. We know that for sure. Because when you are black and blue, there's a different set of rules for you. I don't know if y'all ever seen that movie Black and Blue that came out, I think, in 2019. It had Naomi Harris and Tyrese in it. Basically, it was about this black female cop in Louisiana that just found out that her partner was doing some shady shit, and they shot at her while she had her vest on, and she had her body cam on, so she caught it, and then they literally went all over the city looking for her to try to kill her for that body cam footage before it got out to the masses. It was a wild movie, but if you've never seen it, y'all should go watch it. Noam King said Jim Clyburn says, or Jimbo Jangles said qualified immunity don't need to go anywhere. I bet in his little mind That's what he would think. Kid Gravity said that movie pissed a lot of cops off. A lot of NYPD boycotted that movie. I bet they did, because that basically held the mirror in front of them. And remember, I tell y'all the NYPD is in my top 5 most corrupt police departments. It's like number 1. NYPD is like number 1. LAPD, I think, is number 2. The Chicago PD is like number 3. The Baltimore PD is number 4, and number 5 is interchangeable. Like, that's the one that keeps filtering in and out of the slot. But the 4, those remain. But NYPD forever, to me, will be the number 1 most corrupt police department in America, hands down. Yeah, but like I said, if you have not watched the movie Black and Blue, watch it, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's a wild ass movie, but it's a good one though. Actually, that was actually one of the movies I think I reviewed on my channel back when the movie first came out. Ashton says, and We Own This City shows us the same thing. I need to sit down and watch that, because I know they shot that in Baltimore. I haven't gotten a chance to sit down and watch it, but I need to go ahead and check that out, because I heard that it's a good show. Whenever I get a chance. Jerome says, what does the NYPD have to say about the Buffalo mass shooting? Probably nothing, since it didn't happen since it didn't happen in the city. It happened in Buffalo, so they're probably not saying much of anything, and I wouldn't expect them to say much at all. But anyway, let me move on to the next. Hold on right quick. Let me put y'all on pause right quick, because I need to go handle something right quick. All right, y'all, I'm back. Let's get back into this thing. All right, so now we are starting to slowly segue into the Buffalo updates. But before I got into those, I wanted to talk about Aaron Salter. Aaron Salter, in case y'all are unaware, was the black security guard that was working inside of the Tops grocery store the day that damn racial terrorist came in there and did what he did. And he was the only person that actually fired shots at this guy that could have potentially taken him out. But due to that thick armor that he had on, he was unsuccessful, unfortunately. So let me go ahead and read this article, because they actually interviewed Aaron Salter's wife. It says, Aaron Salter didn't just wear the badge. He lived it every single day. He lived it according to his wife. It wasn't just for this place or that place. It was every day, whether it was at home, whether it was within the community, whether it was on his job, Kimberly Salter said. Aaron, age 55, a former Buffalo police officer, was working as a security guard at the Tops on Jefferson Avenue when Saturday's shooting rampage began. Authorities say he shot at the suspect, hitting his armor, but was killed when fire was returned. Buffalo Police Commissioner Joe Gramaglia said Salter was a hero in our eyes. 46 also calls Salter a hero Tuesday during his visit to Buffalo. This is no surprise to Kimberly Salter. My husband was a hero, but my husband had a calling. His calling was to protect and serve. He wore that badge proudly. Aaron Salter joined other victims' families at the Delavan Grider Community Center Tuesday to meet privately with 46. They're surrounded by dozens, if not hundreds, of people, of others intimately impacted by the shooting. She was approached by someone who had something to say to her. I just met a lady who said, your husband saved my life. Your husband saved the life of my daughter. Your husband fought hard to bring that person down, she said. 46 touched on his own past, telling families that the day will come when they think of, oh, I don't want to read anything he says. He and his wife, I don't want to hear anything about that. Aaron and Kimberly Salter were married for 33 years. Kimberly says she's proud and blessed to have been his wife. I am blessed to be able to share with others the love and compassion that he shared with people, she said, total strangers that he didn't know, every single day. And that's a picture of him right there, in case y'all never saw his picture. Man. It's like when you look at it, it's like it's so unfortunate that he wasn't able to be successful with taking that piece of shit out. But because of the type of bullets he had in his gun and the type of armor that Peyton Gingrin, whatever his name, had on, the bullets were not able to penetrate through that armor. It was so thick. So, yeah. At least he tried. Denise said approximately 35 minutes from me. Personally, I didn't know him, but he has family near some of us, and some of my people knew his family. Noam said the armor he had on was called a flak jacket. The plating in the jacket are called sappy plates. They go in the front, rear, and sides of your back. It does a 360 protection of all the major organs. Yeah, like this guy, he had this whole thing planned out to a T, which is segueing me into this part right here, which is the updates that we've had since Sunday with the shootings, and it's a lot of updates. It's a lot of them, like a lot. So of course we know the basics and everything, but before I actually get into that, I'm gonna talk about this. And shout out to Tariq Nasheed, because this is the gun right here that he used. He said, here's the gun used by white supremacist Peyton Gendron when he carried out his anti-black terrorism attack in Buffalo. The gun has the words "Buck status broken," which is a reference to my film Buck Breaking. Alt-right trolls on 4chan and Reddit use that phrase often. So here's a picture of the gun. And look at the writing on it. It says Buck status broken, hashtag BLM, Mogged, John Ernest. It has some other names on there as well. And as you can see, there's another picture right there. Here's another one right here on the other side. It says, here's your reparation. Sit. I can't read what that says. It's upside down. And some other things on it as well. I know on one part of the gun, it said it did have niggers on it. I do know that. I do remember seeing that. DJ, I already read some. I read some of the manifesto. I didn't read the entire thing, but I did read some of it. Let me see. Well, some of the updates that I did here is that, well, let me start with one of the more recent ones. That dispatcher, that 911 dispatcher that hung up on the woman calling them, that person needs to be fired. They need to be identified and fired. This person was literally calling for help, and you hung up on them. You thought it was a prank call? No, they were talking low so the shooter would not hear them. That's what happened. But they hung up on them. Like, that could have changed the trajectory of what happened if this person took it seriously. That's number one. I'm sure some of y'all have heard about that. The other update that I've heard is that Peyton had came to the store multiple times to case it, to know the surroundings, the ins and outs of the store. And, a lot of people, became suspicious of him being there, especially since that's a relatively small community where a lot of people probably know everybody. But when you see someone that's coming in, they don't look right, they look kind of shaky, then you start questioning what's their motives and why they are there. I had heard about that. I heard, that he about the shooting that he almost did at his school. It was either at his school or at a school. So they have a record of this dude already on the books of trying to commit at one time a mass shooting. What was it? Was it last year? I think it was last year when he tried to commit a mass shooting at a school. So they knew that this guy had issues, but they just let him slide, move right along. What else did I hear? Twitch. I said Twitch needs to be held accountable for allowing that stream to stay up as long as it did. I said that on Twitter. I said they needed to, Twitch needs to, if they're going to do that, they need to suspend their little terms of service as far as putting certain things up. This guy was streaming on Twitch for 20 minutes while he was killing these people. I'm looking in the comments and it looks like he was trying to commit shootings elsewhere as well. Like he was just determined to take people out. He was determined. But one of the craziest videos that I saw was when he was inside the store and he was going around just shooting people and finding who he could kill. He came across this PC man literally hiding in between the aisles, one of the aisles near the register. And he pointed the gun towards him, and the PC guy kind of screams. Like he's like, ah, like that. And all you hear from Peyton is, oh, sorry, and moves on. You cannot tell me that this was not a targeted attack. He wasn't coming in there to just shoot. Well, the people were random, but he had a specific group of the randoms that he was shooting. It's all there in his manifesto. Then you got the PC media giving him cover and all these excuses as to why they say he did what he did, such as, and this was probably the most ridiculous one, him having WOVID. I don't know anything about him having it, but they said WOVID. I didn't know that this pandemic or this WOVID will cause someone to go out and commit a mass shooting. Then they tried to use the age-old trope. It was the video games. That's one we haven't heard in a while, but it's not new either. It was video games that made him go out and do it. Every excuse they could try to think of besides him being a staunch Dub S, which is what it really boils down to. Then you had people saying, oh, well, how do you know it was just strictly against black people? There were other people mentioned in his manifesto, because that's who he mainly killed, you goofy bastards. Granted, he did mention other groups of people in his manifesto that he didn't really care for, such as like immigrants, the people in the J community, but he didn't take them out. As a matter of fact, that's proof right there. let's hypothetically say that that PC man that he didn't kill was a person in the J community. He must not not like them that much. But that's why I said y'all can't allow them to blur the lines when it comes to that. Because being Jewish is not a race. It is a religion. And in that moment, he saw a PC man just like him. So y'all can miss me with that. He knew who he was targeting. I saw the pictures of the victims. Every last one of them was black. The youngest victim was 32, and the oldest victim was 77. Again, the youngest victim was 32, and the oldest victim was 77. All of them were black. No immigrants, no one in the Jewish community. Black. And he even said in his manifesto that he's perfectly sane. So they can miss me with the, oh, maybe it's a mental illness. No, it's not. Anybody who can thoroughly plan out what they did, get all that tactical armor, get a gun that he shouldn't even have in the state of New York. As strict as their gun laws are, he definitely shouldn't have that. Drive 200 miles from his city, 3 hours to another city to do what they did and kill who they killed and have that manifesto is not crazy. He is not crazy. He is very sane. One thing that got me, and I don't know if they've changed it, is when they said that he's been charged with 1 count of first-degree murder. I'm like, y'all about 9 counts short. Because there were 10 bodies that hit the floor and did not get back up. He also has some attempted murder charges there as well that are missing, because there were some people he shot that did not die. Now, they said that they're getting him on hate crime charges, which I knew they would, but we'll see how that goes. Now, I know they got him in protective custody. Like, that's a given. They ain't about to put him with regular folk, because it's off with his head. He might get the Jeffrey Dahmer treatment, which I would not be opposed to. Now, you notice that when they carried him into the courtroom, let me see if I can find a picture of it. You see how they have him dressed right here? Because he's on suicide watch. They got him on suicide watch. I wouldn't want him to take himself out. That's too easy. I would be so pissed if he committed suicide. Let me see if I can open this up in a new tab so I can make it bigger. I would be so pissed if he tried to take himself out. That's too easy. And he did all of this, and they're still questioning if black people should get an anti-hate crime bill or not. But you want to know what's so interesting? What happened the next day after this? Who knows in the chat what happened the next day? Put it in the chat if y'all know what happened the very next day. This past Sunday, the Sunday that just passed. I want to see who knows what I'm referring to. What happened the very next day? Jerome Davis got it first. It was a church shooting in California. And it wasn't at the hands of a black person. It wasn't even at the hands of a PC person. It was at the hands of an Asian man in his late 60s at a Taiwanese church. He killed one person and injured 7 others before they hogtied him and got him up out of there. I would like to know from mainstream media, where's the talks of Asian on Asian crime? That's what I'd like to know. Because one thing I've noticed when it came to this story is how quick people were to say, well, black on black crime, Chicago, Baltimore, other parts of New York, Los Angeles, even though Los Angeles is like not that many black people there. I should know because I went there a couple weeks ago. It's mainly Mexicans and Asians. Where is it at? They don't want to talk about Asian on Asian crime. I want to know what the API got to say about that. And to my knowledge, this guy did not like the people of that church because of their lineage being Taiwanese. Wouldn't that fall under the category of hate? See, one thing people got to realize is that Asia is a continent. It is a very big continent that homes a lot of countries, a lot of nations in it. And a lot of those nations do not get along with each other. Granted, some of them may look alike, but they'll know the difference. This guy killed those people because they were Taiwanese, not because of he just wanted to like fire off. He had a mission. And he was in his late 60s. That's what threw me off. You in your late 60s committing a mass shooting. If you don't go sit down somewhere and enjoy your goddamn retirement, Jerome Davidson says, and yet we're the most violent. That's how they peg us. That's how they have to paint us as us being the most violent people on the planet. You can miss me with that bullshit. And I need to know, Black Voltron, I know you in California. What's the news out there? What have they been talking about that at all? Because I only saw a trend for like a day. I know that this kind of eclipsed it, but I need to know, what is the news cycles out there saying about that shooting in California? Like, visually, like the way I said that, yeah, he need to go sit down and enjoy his retirement, eat his seaweed and his top ramen. But I want to see what Black Voltron says in the chat, because I know he's in California. I know he's in Cali. Norm King said they only talked about it for a day. They did, for like a damn day. And you know why I think they did is because of who the shooter was. It wasn't the usual suspect. I bet you if he had been Muslim, hell, if he was black, it would have been a bonus. They would have loved that because that would have added on to their narrative on the anti-Asian hate. If he was PC, then it would have been, for them, it probably would have been business as usual. But the fact that it was an Asian man who did it, and for what we know his reasons of doing it, they had to make sure that they stayed hush-hush. Don P says, not really. You're from the Bay. They didn't really talk about it. Okay. Figures. It only trended on Twitter for like a day. Excuse me. Black Voltron said, out here in the Bay with all these Asians, these white mainstream local news is hella quiet. They only talked about it for 2 days, then zero follow-up. There you go. And that's probably all you're going to get out of that story. Like you said, no follow-up, no update. That's it. Just like when you had that PC man shoot up that parlor last year. When's the last time they talked about that? And the irony of that is that came after they put that anti-Asian hate crime bill on the books. That happened soon after. But they want to make it seem like black people are the ones that's doing all of this. Okay. Keep thinking that. Asher says in their hate crime bill will protect them. I bet the irony of that. Then what's crazy is after that, or around the same time, I think there was another shooting that happened somewhere in Texas and Milwaukee. You literally had like 4 mass shootings that happened in like a 2-day period. But this is the one that got the most traction. Not saying that this shouldn't get the most traction, because it definitely should be out there. Excuse me. But keep an eye on them other 3. What are they not saying? You said, what charges did he get? Who? The Asian shooter or this guy? Because I'm not sure who you're talking about. Like I said, this guy only got one hit with a charge of first-degree murder. And I think they're bringing up hate crime charges. But it should be more than that. I'm talking about stack the deck against him. But as far as that Asian guy out there, I'm not sure what he got. Like I said, they're keeping it hush-hush. I don't even know the guy's name. I think they put his picture out there, but I forgot what it looked like. Oh, he said the shooter at the parlor. Now, down in Georgia where it happened. And he went to multiple parlors. He went to more than one. I think he went to 3 of them. I forgot what charges he got. I think they did give him a hate crime charge because it was pretty obvious. But the fact of the matter is, you don't hear about it anymore. You don't hear about that anymore. It's like as if it did not happen. But I wanted to talk about one last thing. And this happened, and I posted this up on my Twitter account. This happened in Harlem. Shortly after this, as a matter of fact. It didn't gain much traction. I posted it up. It kind of spread a little bit. Then to reposted it up on his page, and now it's pretty much everywhere. But I did not see one news coverage about this. Let me go ahead and play this.
No, they watched the whole thing. They watched the whole thing.
Man, Sabi.
They want to arrest him. We all sit here backing up these watches, man. Ain't no way to ride. Yeah. Or so. But the one on the floor had a bunch of needles and stuff, but he good. I'm gonna update you. That man, he admitted. If you open up, he admitted.
Okay. So what y'all just saw is this happened in Harlem. And what happened was you had this piece of shit, Dub S, went around with a bunch of needles. And I think this is the needles in this guy's hands right here that they got from him, that they apprehended off him. And he was going around attempting to stab multiple black people out there with a bunch of needles. We don't know what was in them needles. We don't know if there was anything in those needles. But we know that there were needles that he was trying to stab black people with. And when they got a hold of his ass, they beat the shit out of him. Now, you see he's sitting there on the ground with his hands tied, cuffed behind his back, and he's kind of leaning a little bit. From what I heard, that's when he just woke up after being knocked out. Like, they probably had to use the smelling salt on him to wake him up. because he looked like he's in a daze. Like he's just now getting up. But the fact of the matter is that he's being heavily protected by none other than my number one most corrupt police organization in America, the NYPD. Black Voltron said, when was this? This was recent. Yeah, like I told you, it was no news coverage. I just happened to scroll through my Instagram stories and saw it, and then I went to the page, which is this one right here, and it posted it up on my Twitter account. There was no news coverage. This was posted 2 days ago on the 18th. And it, like I said, no news coverage, which should have been. But like I said, you see this bag right here? Those are the needles that he had when he was attempting to stab multiple black people out there in Harlem. And this is the bag right here that they got off of him. That's a lot of needles. Now, when I posted it, I had some people who knew some people who lived in Harlem. Some people did. Apparently, most of the people that make up Harlem, at least nowadays, would be under the category of Afro-Latino. Not saying it's not other black people out there, but most of them are Afro-Latino. But I'm glad they beat the brakes off of him. You know, I'm not going to say what I want to say on here. But if we are like linking minds, y'all know what should have happened to him. Because, like I said, who knows what was in them needles? But yeah, like I said, they getting real bold. And the fact, I look at the timing. 2 days ago was Wednesday. That shooting in Buffalo happened on Saturday, almost a week ago. So you're talking what? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 days later, and this happens, or almost happens. All I'm gonna say is, black people, you, or should I say we, better be on our P's and Q's. Cross all the T's, dot all the I's, because these mofos have lost their damn, well, I would say they lost their mind, but I think we passed that. Jay just moved. This wasn't a shooting. This was a guy trying to stab black people with needles. Like if you see right here in this, right here where I'm circling the cursor, that's the bag of needles that he had that they got off of him. And the black people that's standing around are upset at the cops because they're not allowing them to pretty much continue whooping his ass and saying, why are you giving him protection? He was out here trying to stab people with a bunch of needles. And God knows what was in them. It could have been drugs. It could have been anything. Anything that could have harmed somebody if it got into their bloodstream. But I'm glad that the people of Harlem was actually able to subdue him, at least. Because the thing is, what happens is all they need is to see one person be successful with something like this, and then they all get that courage to think they can do the same thing, thinking that everybody's going to receive it the same way. Oh, nah. He must think all New Yorkers are the same. I can tell you that's a damn lie. As someone who has family in New York and people and knows people from New York, all different parts of New York, and has been to New York, I can tell you this. A lot of New Yorkers are built differently depending on where you go. But yeah, shout out to Harlem for at least putting hands on this dude. But yeah, that's pretty much going to conclude this stream. Need to get up out of here, give me something to eat. I'm glad everybody came through. This is my first time using the restream. It won't be the last. I think I'm gonna use this format from now on. I enjoy it. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll be back on the main channel tomorrow, of course, with my one video a day, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy this weather. And with that being said, I'm gonna get off of here.